Alcohol, it's everywhere. It's at parties, celebrations, even in moments of pain. For many, it's a way to escape, but at what cost? Celebrities. These are people who had everything. Fame, fortune, success. Yet even they found themselves trapped in the cycle of drinking, but they found a way out. And so can you.
I'm never going back. I feel stupid for waiting this long. If you're concentrating on improving your health and your fitness, why are you poisoning yourself? Your body and your brain are inexorably connected. If your body functions better, your brain will function better. It's not rocket science. It's real simple.
Yeah.
And if you drink, you will notice a big dip if you have one cocktail. One cocktail will be a big dip in the amount of recovery you have.
Right.
And you won't even notice it. You'll be like, I wasn't even drunk. But most people are just used to feeling like garbage.
Yeah.
It's like having water in your ear and you forget and then pops and like, oh, fuck, I can hear now.
Right.
Like they're walking through life with water in their ear and they think this is what it sounds like. But it's just, you're poisoning yourself.
You know, alcohol doesn't bring out the best in people's characters. Alcohol almost universally makes people less than they are. It's fun because it eradicates your concern for future consequences.
For many, alcohol starts as fun, a social event, a way to loosen up. But over time, it becomes something more. It becomes a crutch, a necessity, and for some, a prison.
I'm embarrassed how many times I quit and couldn't do it.
Quit drinking or
Quit drinking and drugs, yeah. I'm proud of myself that I didn't quit quitting.
Yeah.
Because it's demoralizing. Like to truly be powerless over something is demoralizing. It's so rough.
Hitting rock bottom is different for everyone. Some lose their families, others lose their health, and some almost lose their lives. But the truth is, you don't have to hit rock bottom to make a change.
I've changed. Yeah. Like, I don't drink alcohol anymore. This is a toxic behavior for me, and my whole life it held me back because I knew that I couldn't, like, surrender to something nor give it up. It was like that definition of insanity. You do the same over and over again, expecting a different result. I was a complete prisoner of my own behavior. And finally, 3.5 years ago, I was like, I can't do this anymore. It doesn't work for me. I'm never gonna be that cool girl with the glass of wine at the party. Like, I'll want 3 bottles. Like, that's just my personality. It's my addiction. And when I finally let go of that, it made me realize that I was capable of great change that I totally rebelled about. I was like, I will master this toxic behavior of mine. As if I could, I just did not think I could ever stop. That was a hamster wheel I'd be on my whole life.
For some people, it's also a psychomotor stimulant like cocaine, and it was certainly that for me. And for other for people too, it can have a heroin-like effect, which facilitates the sense of social belonging. And I think I had all 3 of those effects from alcohol. So I liked it quite a lot. But the consequence for me was, you know, I would misbehave when I was drinking in ways that made me remorseful the next day or the next 2 days or the next week. And I realized at that point that that was a performative contradiction in a sense. Performative contradiction is when you act out something that's a lie, that runs contrary to your moral beliefs, right? And so I was looking at the literature on atrocity, trying to determine how the proclivity to bring those states about, those hellish states about, might be ameliorated. Like, what's the opposite of evil? That's the question I suppose I was trying to solve. And so when I saw patterns of behavior in my own life that were making things worse than they had to be, then that was an indication that it was time to stop.
And very quickly, if you want instant access to a brand new video training that I've just finished showing you how to control alcohol in as little as 48 hours, then click the link in the description. This new method is not about using willpower therapy or AA meetings, it's totally different. I do not publish this video anywhere else online and it's already changing thousands of lives, so click the link below for instant access. Once you're on the next page, enter your name and email address and your free training will begin. It takes just 7 minutes to watch. but it'll feel like somebody flicks a switch in your brain. And honestly, I'm not sure when I'll start charging for this 7-minute video training. That's how good it is. But whilst it's still available, click the link below, enter your name and email address, and watch that video now.
The moment you decide to quit, you start winning.
Got sober when I was 17, and then 3 years after that, I was on a television show, and that felt great. And it was like this new thing, a new source of, to fill me up. Like when I was young, it was like I was just shy. I just didn't know how to get along in the world. I didn't know how to talk to people, and alcohol was like the best solution for that. The problem is for me, normally you have a window. It's like, it's fun, they say, and then fun with problems, and then just problems. Like my window from fun to just problems was so short. And I was a ward of the court and all this stuff. But once I couldn't use alcohol to sort of fill that hole, it was like, oh, success, attention, this is great.
Your mind gets clearer.
And if you're only enjoying yourself because you're drinking, then you really do have a problem. But I just changed my mindset. I found really good replacements, things that I could sort of attribute to having a beer. I often found with me, most of it is just the ritual of cracking something open and sharing it with friends and drinking it. Whether it's sparkling water or a beer, I don't associate, I don't see a difference.
Yeah.
But I think it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
I had a great support system. Jack is one of my best mates, and we travel all over the world. He doesn't drink, and doing it with him was a really helpful experience for me. My brother is always on the road with me. He was very supportive. And yeah, I just really set my mind to it. I was like, I really want to do this. I want to prove to myself I can do it.
Yeah.
And then once I'd felt the health benefits and started really feeling like my full self, I was like, oh my God, this is the best.
Your body gets stronger.
Cooper, now sober for over 15 years. He's also helped his famous friends get sober, which Brad Pitt thanked him for in 2020.
I got sober because of this guy.
Pretty career changing. I was 36 when that happened. So, I was already in the game for 10 years just banging around. So I didn't get lost in fame. But you definitely had some wild years. Oh, in terms of like alcohol and drugs, yeah. But that had nothing to do with fame though. But I was lucky, I got sober at 29 years old. And, I've been sober for 19 years. But they're very lucky. Good for you.
Your relationships improve.
I wish he had been sober during those formative years, but what he's taught me is how important it is for me to be sober now during these formative years for my kids.
He says his mother was his rock, but as his family broke apart, he vowed never to repeat it.
What was the hardest thing for you to be honest with yourself about?
That I was going to get divorced. I never thought I was going to get divorced. I didn't want to get divorced. I didn't want to be a divorced person. I really didn't want to be a split family with my children. And it upset me because it meant I wasn't who I thought I was. And that was so painful.
And he says a wake-up call about the dad he is determined to be.
I took the last half of the year off and I just got to be dad. Drive him to school, pick him up, go to the swim meet. Just that's where the parenting happens. It's in the cracks. It's in the moments where you're just taking them back from soccer and they say something profound or they talk about how they're really feeling about something. And it's like, that's where you get to be the parent. That's the joy of it. And that's what I don't want to miss.
And you start to realize that alcohol was never adding anything to your life. It was only taking it away.
You've lost some weight. Around 2 ounces. I was gonna say about 2 ounces. Yeah, no, I stopped drinking and I just kind of put the weight off.
I'm depressive anyway.
Well, it sounds like you've come out the other side of that, at least being able to recognize it.
For today, yeah.
For today.
Yeah.
That's sort of how an alcoholic has to live, right?
Yeah.
One day at a time.
It is, and that's if I'm at fault with something, I will try to correct it. And I'm pretty open now about seeing what that is. But if I start wallowing in guilt, which I do, I'll go down to a path where it's no good. It's no good.
If we had to make a bad drug legal, the worst choice was alcohol. It's definitely the case. And I'm saying that as somewhat of a fan of alcohol. Mm-hmm. If you like alcohol, that's a stupid question.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, why do people drink too much? Well, because it's great. Yeah. It's like, okay, so why stop? Well, you do stupid things when you're drunk. You hurt yourself. You compromise your health. It's really hard on the people around you. You tend to turn into a liar, and it screws up your life.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but it's pretty fun. Yeah, well, it is. But you need something better than that. And what's better isn't being straight and not making mistakes. It's like that's all prohibition in some sense. What's better is, no, you need an adventure, man. You need to get out there and have something to do.
Yeah.
And something worth waking up for. And that's the substitute for the addiction.
I don't want to, at this point, to be running from anything. I want to sit in it. I want to feel it. I want to get through the rough night. And I found in doing so, you come out the other side with a more profound understanding of yourself, a greater gratefulness for those in your life, birds in the trees and everything else.
Stop drinking, yeah.
Very difficult?
No, beautiful. Unbelievable.
Better.
Oh, are you kidding? I would never be sitting here with you. No way, no chance.
Because?
Because I wouldn't have been able to have access to myself or other people, or even been able to take in other people if I hadn't changed my life. No way. And I never would have been able to have relationships that I do. I never would have been able to take care of my father the way I did when he was sick. So many things.
What's the pros and cons?
That if I do, I'll wind up doing too much.
For sure?
For sure. I can't control it.
It's just the way you are.
Just the way I am. And I don't want to push it again, because when I get that way, my kids don't talk to me. I get a divorce. I'm thrown out of my own band.
Right.
What else? I lose everything. I mean, that's happened enough times for me to finally realize, you know what? It's not worth it.
I get it.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I got a lot of beautiful friends. I got a beautiful bunch of friends to keep me in line, you know?
You know, I got sober for a year and a half. I wanted to be sober. I committed to it. And the problem with that fight is, like, you can win 1,000 times, you know, you only have to give in once. And you're never going to win all the time. Right. So something fundamental has to change. And I hate to say it, but the cure for addiction is suffering. You suffer enough that something inside you goes, I'm done. And I'm like lucky because I hit that point before I lost really the things that were the most important.
You would feel watched when you went into a bar, when you went into a pub, and then, you know, in my case, the quickest way of forgetting about the fact that you were being watched was to get very drunk.
There is a lot of pressure on young people not to drink necessarily, but to find happiness through going out and getting mashed. And that's fun, and you have a good time, and good luck to you. But if it doesn't work for you, and if you keep waking up going, I don't seem to be having nearly as good time as most of my friends, then, you know, then think about it. It doesn't have to be something you do, is all I'd say to people. I would drink and drink and drink and drink, and then you would just reach that moment where you're like, wow, I shouldn't have had that last beer. And you wake up the next day and you have a terrible headache and you're suffering. I bought one of those rings that will tell you about your sleep. I bought this ring and it was booze. It was completely affecting my sleep. And since I've given it up, I can sleep anywhere, you know? It's also interesting as well, going on nights out and having a great time as the sober person, and then getting to that point in the night where people start, you know, spitting in your ear and everyone's like, I love you, man. I love you so much. And you're like, yeah, brilliant. I love you too. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to bed. Like, I love being that person now. I love seeing my friends on the golf course at 8 a.m. in the morning, feeling fresh and ready to go. And they're sort of crawling out their car. And so I'm over the moon to be sober. I love it.
So they had me for 2 weeks. And it took about 7 days for, you know, certain things to happen. You know, some people came in and talked about recovery, and I read some stuff, and I just, like, it was time. You know, my life was a disaster, and I decided about 7 days in that I not only wanted to go into treatment, but that I didn't want to waste my time in treatment. That I want, if I was going to make the commitment to get sober, I wanted to give myself every advantage and really do the things that people do to stay sober. And thankfully, I've been committed to that ever since. So.
And I drank quite a lot till I was 27, and then I found that I couldn't. Well, first of all, my life was taking a pretty professional turn, and second, I found that there was no bloody way I could write seriously and think seriously on an ongoing basis if I was hungover. And I got married and I was going to have kids, and I thought, enough of this. And so I thought when I was 50 that I might be able to drink again socially. And I toyed with it for about a year and found out that I was probably just as stupid at 50 as I had been at like 25, and decided to dispense with that that too, which was definitely, I've watched too, as I've gone around the world, I've met very, very many people in many, many social occasions. And because I don't drink anything at all now, if I go out and watch people drinking, it makes everybody stupid and fuzzy-minded. And the problem is when you're drinking, you think you're cool, but you have those same delusions that Homer Simpson's friend Barney had when he was drinking, that you're this kind of, elegant and sophisticated comedian, and it just makes everybody stupid.
I haven't took drugs in 6 days, and for me, that's a miracle. I've been lying to everybody else and think I was sober, but I'm not. This is my 6th day. I'm never going to use again.
So, this is your moment, your turning point. You don't have to live in the cycle of regret, guilt, and addiction. You can break free. And when you do, you won't just survive, you'll thrive.